Bonjour, bonsoir, dear friends. Welcome to the month of June. This is June 14th, another exceptional happy hour. Today, a very big one because we have an incredible guest. I have vibration just thinking about the topics we're going to cover. He's an old-time phenomenal American serving this amazing country at the highest level. He's a fifth-generation Californian. That makes him even more interesting. He was a great entrepreneur in business and decided to do something else for the sake of others, for his community, and certainly to be an active member of shaping the future of this amazing country, this incredible state, and this incredible region. Dear friends, I'm delighted because we're going to talk from water to environment to history to the flag, because it's Flag Day today, and he's going to tell us everything about what America is about and where America is going. Mr. Bill Dodd. Woo! There he is.
Hello, John Charles. How are
Bill, better would not be possible.
Fantastic.
Hey, just meeting a fifth-generation Californian, I feel energized by this amazing past to California.
Thank you. Cheers to California.
Cheers. So, Bill, how does it feel to be a five-generation Californians?
You know, it actually feels pretty darn good. And I think that's, why I'm doing what I'm doing today, as a representative of the state government, a California senator representing Napa and Sonoma valleys and other extended areas, just because, the history of my family that came over here in like the 1840s.
Wow, so gold rush
California.
time.
Oh, absolutely.
And they came, Bill, from where?
They came from Ireland. And you know what? We have immigrants today, and we talk about that all the time. Look, back then, my family was immigrants that came over because they couldn't get good jobs. They couldn't get fed. Their kids couldn't get education because they were Irish.
Yeah.
And the discrimination level was just absolutely, Irish Catholic, that is, was pretty incredible. And so they left and went to Canada, then came down to Missouri. And that was like the starting point for their trek. They came over before the Donner Party.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And they made it the whole way.
That's amazing.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And their objective was moving west, sense of pioneering that you have in you, and that energy of discovering something new and creating a new life, right?
That's absolutely correct. And they were very successful, given that opportunity and, working really hard. Big ranch. They developed cattle ranch and then made it there, and actually had sons. One of my great uncles was the mayor of San Jose, a senator, an assembly member, and
so that's
another one was an assembly member as well. So
it's in your DNA.
Maybe
it's part of the family legacy, the famous Dodd. So, what does it mean, Bill, to be Californian to you?
I just think it means excellence, frankly. I know people talk a lot about California. In some cases, there are some things that are going on in California that people may not like. But really, when you look at what we have in California, and let's just start with the wine industry, world class. And California is the home of U.S. wines, obviously. Yeah. But Napa and Sonoma is where the premium wines are grown. And this is what people want when they come to California to taste wines. It's just what we have here in our valley. And then, of course, you don't have to go far to Silicon Valley.
That's right.
We're the home of technology. And just on and on, the beautiful resources of Lake Tahoe, Yosemite, the deserts, the ocean. We have the Sierras.
So you describe how proud we are to be Californian by what California is. What does it mean to you emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually to be Californian? Because I'll give you my version after. I think there's a true energy as being Californian. And I know it's the sixth largest or fifth largest economy in the world as well. But there's a meaning to it that I will tell you my version of it.
Yeah, well, mine is, just looking at our history
Yes.
and trying to ensure that our future is better than our past. And that's really, for me, what inspires me. There are so many, points in history and some really great individuals and
Yes.
pioneers that we've had in California that have led the way in all the industries that I mentioned earlier. But for me, it's that entrepreneurial spirit that people have to develop new things and also to take care of those people that are less fortunate.
Yeah.
That to me is really important.
I'm with you. The first time I came, I was 11 years old, and my grandparents were resistant during that same day as today, June 14th. They were there on the beaches helping the Americans coming in. So we got to have a toast, by the way.
We better have a toast.
Hey, June 14 is a big day. June 6, you arrived. And June 14, you had made a lot of progress. And I'm excited about that. To my grandparents who are watching us, because they took me to California. And what you just said resonate a lot. And what I love the most, 40 years ago, exactly your style. Charming, people with a beautiful smile, welcoming you, being hospitable, that joie de vivre that you find really on the West Coast that is very unique. I love the US at large, but the West Coast has that. And I think that American way of life, don't you think?
I really do. I think it's amazing. You can work hard, you can play hard,
Yes.
and it's a great place for a family as well, for kids to grow up. Certainly, me growing up in this valley and in the state of California was a very memorable, time.
And you grew up on a farm, huh?
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
yeah.
Farm growing what?
We grew walnuts mostly, and back in the day, and I'm talking about the early '60s and '70s. Robert Mondavi really didn't start his high quality wine operation, and others followed him because he was so incredibly amazing. And until 1968, and then in the '70s, it started building slowly but surely. But nevertheless, the valley was mostly walnuts and prunes, and I was an entrepreneur walnut and prune picker.
That's great.
And I remember vividly what a ripoff it was at 50 cents for a big gunny sack full of walnuts. But when prune season came, it was like 75 cents to $1 for a smaller box. So I kind of like that. So that's what we grew in our home. We had about 1.5 acres or so of grapes.
Yeah.
Sauvignon Vert. It was just a blending grape that they
That's right.
used at the time. And then we were, I had 3 other brothers and a sister, and we were all in 4-H. And so we had sheep and rabbits and chickens. And
So the true farming life.
oh, yeah, big vegetable gardens.
And what did that teach you, do you think?
I think it taught me responsibility in terms of, that you just don't, put them in a corral or put them in a pen or a cage. You've got to feed them. You got to clean them.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when it's all done, I had a big wagon and I would walk because, their houses weren't really that close together down the street with my eggs and vegetables and everything selling. So it taught me sales skills. And
Which I
more
know
money.
with that smile, he was very successful. I'm going to toast to that
Cheers.
amazing upbringing.
I mean,
A dream upbringing, isn't it?
yeah, it really was. And, it was fun for my entire family.
Bill, he's as well, dear friends, an amazing wine taster. He has a great palate. So, Bill, to welcome you, as with the month of June, and it's always historical in our family with the American influence in Europe way back and still today, it's from Burgundy. So what do you think? Could you describe the JCB 21 for us? I know you do that all the time in Sacramento and everywhere else.
We may be tasting some things, but it's nothing like this. Trust me. No, this is just beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's really, the history, of course, we don't sell champagne in California.
Yeah.
But you do,
That's right.
because you get it from France. And
That's
it
it.
is just absolutely superb.
Well, we celebrated recently, dear friends, with Bill, who gave us a wonderful accolade as well, a great moment, at Buena Vista, which was wonderful.
The 10th anniversary of Buena Vista Winery. We had a great day together, and amazing.
Very grateful of your commitment and your love of history. So tell us about, your view of California history and its evolution and where you see it today.
Well, let's just start
I know
talking.
it's a big question.
Well, it is a big question. When the state, the Bear Flag revolt was like in 1847, and that's where the Bear Flag, really came into prominence. And it was a group of Californians that wanted their independence
Yeah.
from Mexico, and they got it. 3 years later, the state of California was established, and then 7 years later, Buena Vista Winery, the winery that you brought back.
Then we should have a toast.
Oh, we
with
have
it.
to have a
This
toast.
is this one.
Here is this one.
This is Sonoma, but Bill,
You love it, Sonoma.
You love both, right? Sonoma and
Totally.
Napa. You do it all.
I do it all.
Yeah. But that's amazing. So what's that meaning of this flag? We are Flag Day, so maybe you want to tell us what that means too.
Well, Flag Day in the United States, it just is a day that we celebrate our flag. Now, what we do, you can celebrate any flag you want,
Yeah,
but normally it's the American flag.
of course.
But we're today talking about the Bear Flag Republic and that flag that they established, and how important that flag is, I think, to the state of California.
Yeah.
And to me personally, and that's part of the history and the heritage. So today on June 14th, we're celebrating Betsy Ross and the
Yes.
U.S. flag and the Bear Flag, of the state of California.
And tell everyone, because I think what is amazing is people think it happened in Sacramento, people think it happened in San Francisco or Los Angeles. Where did it happen?
It happened over in Sonoma.
Yeah.
And in fact, at the Sonoma mission right across the street downtown, they actually have, it's not the original flag that was, but one of the original flags still there today. A lot of history in Sonoma. Mm-hmm. And of course, you brought back Buena Vista Winery. As I said, it was the first winery in the state of California, established in 1857, and still standing today. But John Charles, you brought it back to life. You gave it the prominence that it deserves. And so we've been 10 years since you did that.
That's
and
it.
You've got folks, when you come to the United States, if you're from outside the United States or outside of California, if you come to Sonoma, you have to see what has been done there. Let's do that.
Well, of course. And tell us what you think, because this is the juice in many ways of your ancestors and family members that planted some of those vineyards and made
this
it
is a classic
liquid gold.
Oh, it is fantastic.
So, as much as you love wine, Bill, before you became our wonderful senator, I understand you've been involved in water.
Yes.
So tell us about this, because I know you love the divine wine that is being produced here. But did you convert water into wine, or what happened?
Wouldn't that have been great? Although my father, who passed in 1991, would be turning over in his grave to see how much bottled water costs today. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But nevertheless, we were in the bottled water business.
Yeah.
5-gallon bottles. We were in the filtration, water softening, drinking water system, and also high-end industrial water. So we kind of grew up with the wine industry.
Sure.
In Napa and Sonoma counties. A lot of the areas are rural areas with wells that need a higher level of treatment. So that was the business. My dad was in it for 25 years. I got out of college and came home and worked with him for a while. And the best part of that for me was he was a tough boss.
Yeah.
But he was my best friend. He was my mentor. He was my boss, and he ended up being my partner.
And then you took over the business.
I took over the business, and so it was like a dream come true. And it's like, talk about a cool. We talked about my family life being kind of fun and energetic. That was a similar thing for me for 25 years.
Did you work with your brothers as well?
I worked with my brothers growing up. We all had a stint there.
So
it
what's
was
the
not
key
always
of
fun.
what's the key of success in a family business?
Well, as we all know, family businesses are a tough sport.
Yeah.
It's hard keeping everything together. We certainly had issues there, but I think it's good communication.
Yeah.
I think more than anything else, and also having the leader of the company, which was my dad, really setting a course for the
Yes.
family business of what his vision was and how he saw us fitting into that business. And he was pretty amazing.
And he
guy.
succeeded in bringing it together, which is
We
amazing.
did. We really did. No brag, just fact. It was a fun, but also invigorating. And it's not just about making money. It's about establishing friends.
That's right.
It's about making sure that the people you serve are satisfied. Customer service.
Yeah.
It's just like what you're doing here. You put out a great product. Everywhere you go, and any of the JCB wineries, you go there, you have a first-class experience. People remember that. So it's not just it's like the product, the service, and the experience.
Yeah.
And if you do that, things, for me, and that's kind of what I look at in what I'm doing now in Sacramento, those are the keys.
Before we go to Sacramento, what shaped you, you think, in all that experience to who you today? What are the key elements that made you the fantastic Bill Dodd that we know today? That has always been fantastic, I'm sure. I've had the pleasure to know you now for many years, and I can only see you doing amazing things. So we're so proud of it.
Thank you. I'll just say that I think it's that desire to. In the work that I've been doing, it's that desire to serve.
Yes.
First and foremost, it's kind of mind-boggling, but I serve 1 million constituents.
Wow.
1 million in my Senate District 3, and that's about 250,000 more than a congressman. In many cases, that's more than a whole state.
That's huge.
A lot of states so we have huge districts.
So you have 1 million employees in many ways.
Exactly. Bosses.
That's one of the biggest firms.
But the thing is it's that sense of really needing and wanting to have them have experience.
Yes.
Customer service. We have people we know with COVID, there was a lot of people that we didn't please because of the employment development department.
Yeah.
They needed their, so there's always that need to want to make sure that we help people there, and it's a huge responsibility. And the other thing is you learn, as I'm sure you have over the years, you can never, if you have an organization, I have 19 employees.
Yeah.
It's a team, and it's everybody being in sync, understanding what the mission is. And I'm really glad I had the business experience because
Yeah, for sure.
customer service in politics and in public service should be priority number one.
For sure.
So that's really helped me with my vision in terms of what I want to do in Sacramento.
And now, just on water, one more question. As far as water, you were obviously focusing on the drinking water side, the gallons and the local springs. What is the future of bottled water and water in California or in the US at large? Because I'm always surprised. Luckily, we have amazing water in Napa Valley. We have springs everywhere. We have Calistoga, which is amazing. And I'm always surprised sometimes to see water coming from Europe or Asia on the store shelves. When are we going to see American water being more premiumized and on the shelves?
Yeah, I think
is that going to happen?
I think you're starting to see. I think you're starting to see it, but not like the way the Europeans have done it is pretty phenomenal because you come over there, the quart bottles. I was just at a hotel, premium hotel in Sacramento, and in my room were those glass bottles.
That's right.
We don't do that. We don't do that well, but it just, I think it. And then if you go to nice restaurants anywhere, that's what they're having it at the table. And if you've been, I know you grew up in Europe, but visitors to Europe, that's the second nature.
I'm waiting for that time. I hope it happens.
I'm not sure. I think that on the sparkling side, that we're still importing a lot of water.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an opportunity there, but I think a lot of places and even high-end restaurants are going to these really good ultra pure filtration systems because of sustainability.
Yes.
Plastic bottles, maybe not.
That's right.
Although we're working on that as
I
well
know.
as a solution.
As a great solution, right?
Yes.
So tell us about the huge commitment of California on the cause we love, the environment. Without wonderful terroir and great earth and great climatology and the haven we live with, we could not produce such wines. And we're really big fervent of sustainability and the environmental practices that we everyone wants to adopt. So,
prior to getting the legislature, I was a county supervisor, which is for those, in other states they might call them county commissioners.
yes.
But it's a county council, if you will, for all of Napa County. And I quickly learned in Napa County how farmers were the original environmentalist. Now, not everybody really gets that, frankly,
Yes.
and they think, oh, planting vines and the environment, and look at. It's important for farmers to have, if you only have great vintages, one time and then you're done, that doesn't do anything. You've got to keep the soil on your property.
That's it.
And you've got to treat your property with respect and not use all the pesticides that you could possibly do. And our farmers are more in tune today with more sustainable
That's right.
growing practices. So as I'm in Sacramento, now it's just, I can be a representative of agriculture who often other legislators mistake their intentions. But having grown up in this and understanding it, and then being in the county, board, I really, understand the pride that farmers take. If you come in Napa County today or Sonoma Valley and Sonoma County, the majority of them are green certified, and just really using sustainable practices in their farming and also in their bottling and in all the way through their processes. And so in California, we've taken great pride on trying to create an all-electric
That's right.
grid. Now, when you
That's a huge commitment.
it is a huge commitment. Now, there's been some stumbles here and there,
Yeah.
but it's just like anything new that you try, you've got to adjust. And I'm really proud of the fact that automobiles are going to be here for the foreseeable future. But at the same time, with the electric automobile, perhaps hydrogen automobiles are in our future.
For sure.
California is leading the way. In fact, because of California requirements to get to 100% electric, I think it's by 2040. That's kind of like
Tomorrow.
it really is. This is where we're heading. We have caused, because of that interest in our rules and regulations and how big the California market is in the U.S., Detroit now is moving along. You even see the Ford. Can we promote a brand?
Of course.
The Ford 150 is coming out.
I was so
back
thrilled
in the factory taking a tour. It would just amaze me.
Yeah.
And so a lot European, Japanese, all the car manufacturers around the world are moving in this direction, a more sustainable day. And we're doing it with our electrical grid, more and more solar, wind power, and it's going to do nothing but get better.
And how is California, you said, leading the way in the other alternative energy? You mentioned solar, you mentioned wind, all the others. Do you want to give us a quick?
Well, solar obviously is the number one renewable energy that we have, but we're also taking our waste services from garbage that's collected at curbside, and it's separated, and we have different bins, and the green waste in many cases is converted to fuels that power the garbage trucks that drive up and down the street. So
full circle.
And in other cases, it makes natural gas that they sell off into certain markets. They have right now in San Jose. I was down touring a plant a couple of years ago where they end up making chicken feed out of the green waste. And so there's just And look at being that we're technology oriented in California more and more. I mean, people are just coming up with amazing ideas.
That's right.
Of what we can do to become green. Hydrogen, right now, green hydrogen. We had a refinery in my district that is converting over from oil refining to green hydrogen plant. So these are the things that are happening that are really going to make a difference in the state of California, but also in our country as well.
That's right.
In our standards, the petroleum that's refined here to make gasoline or jet fuel is the cleanest in the world. The regulations that have been put on them over the years, tough regulations, been very difficult. And look at we end up paying a little bit more for our gas because our environment. And you take a look, when I was growing up, the air quality was not so good in California. And today it's
fantastic. So on that, we need your opinion on this marvelous Sonoma wine from your ancestors. Give us a true Bill Dodd wine, master of wine description.
Well, given that I'm
had a few bottles.
More into and I'm more into political terms than I am the wonderful vinotech terms that you.
Well,
we
we did not put you on the spot
to
describe water at least.
Yeah,
I know you know how to do that well.
What I like in a Chardonnay is like this, just natural.
Yeah.
It's not effervescent, but it's not just blah, like watery and everything else. I just think right off the nose, it's fruity, and it's an expression of the fruit that you're growing.
Yeah.
In Sonoma or Napa, that really makes the wine. It's not manufactured wine.
That's right.
And in some cases, we both know
that could happen.
That could happen somewhere.
Well, I'm going to let you finish because now we need to try the big gun, talking about the history of California. So
I got behind.
You were talking and you had the excuse, but you need hydration constantly. It's very important for your voice. What's the secret talent of Bill that we don't know? Are you a singer, a pianist, athlete? Your wife told me already you were a marvelous kisser.
Woo.
Secretly, she told me that. How many years has it been together?
25 years. 25 years.
Pretty exciting. Yeah. A quarter of a century.
Quarter of a century.
Well, we're going to drink to that.
Well, let's do that.
But what's the secret we should know that is behind the famous Bill Dodd?
Well, I don't think that there's any secret to that necessarily. If you want a story about one thing that most people don't know.
Yes.
I was in a 50s band, lead singer of a 50s band in high school and college.
Would you give us a little demonstration of one of the music?
Probably not.
Because the 50s is the time we love.
Chantilly lace and a pretty face. That's as far as it goes.
I like Chantilly. And the cream that comes with it.
There you go.
So, to come back to California, that's a big gun. I'm going to give you a little time.
Okay.
This is one of the most iconic wine we've ever made at Buena Vista. So tonight for us, celebrate June 14, we need to have it.
That's right.
So Bill,
to the flag.
To the flag. I know you're all jealous, 1857, tiny quantity, 75 cases produced.
Oh my God.
That's it. And one bottle, and many more tonight will go towards our beautiful figure. So when we think California, we think a country, we think an amazing dynamic. We think, obviously, one of the key leading states on so many fronts. What are the big challenges you feel California at large is facing, north, south, as a state? Whichever way you want to go in this question.
Our Governor Newsom, calls it a nation state because, as you mentioned earlier, we're the 5th largest economy in the world. And I would say uniformly right now, after COVID, and I say after COVID because, look, we've got to look up.
For sure.
Look what's going on right now in our valley. People are coming back. It's more than light at the end of the tunnel. It's sunshine.
At the end of the tunnel, at the end of the cellar.
At the end of the cellar.
There's always a candle that shows you the light.
There you go. So I think, recovery, making sure
Yeah.
we have recovery for all.
Sure.
Through through them, we got to see through, this our unemployment rate. Thanks to the hospitality industry opening up, boy, the unemployment rate has gone down. But we still
Significantly,
have
right?
significantly. But we still have other industries that are not back yet, and so I think it's just us seeing through and making sure that people are taking care of family. What we don't want is we're not to bring up a negative, but we've got that's one of the things that I truly believe. You can talk about how good you are, but you got to meet your challenges.
That's right.
We're 12% of the population of the United States of America, right here in California.
12%.
But we have 28% of the homeless of the U.S. right here in California. So it's something that we really. And the last thing
Is it because the weather is good, so they want to be here, or or because we just allow them to be?
Well, there's that, but the thing is it's an extremely expensive state to live in. The cost of living, is higher, and with COVID, what we want to make sure is that we don't further exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
What we do is put it out there and make sure that there's opportunity at the end of the day, so the good people that have been working their tails off, so to speak, like you and your team do every single day, that they don't fall behind. And so that's something that we, that I look for, and the other things I think that we still have, work to do is, in just creating a better business environment.
Yes.
Making sure that we've got a lot of regulations in the state.
I love that statement, but I agree with you. This is what normally California is all about, and America.
And we want to protect consumers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we want to make it, an environment that's both good for the consumer and good for the business as well.
Yeah.
And we've seen, what that really means in Napa and Sonoma County. The philanthropy.
Yes.
We don't have to, one of the things is we don't really have to go out and ask very much. You do it all the time. I've seen all the causes that you support, including my own charity.
Of course, which we admire you to do and to support.
But that's something that, maybe they just don't have that all over the place. But I kind of think the American spirit, the California spirit, is giving back and trying to make sure that, everybody, even those that are down, get bumped up.
So what is the most endangered part of this American spirit, this American set of values you think we need to make sure we work on and eventually, isolate and make sure we attack? Is there one thing that you feel worried about?
Yeah, it's division.
Yeah.
And we've seen that over the last 4 or 5 years. And I don't want to dwell on it, but I think when America is great, when California is great, you don't see that division.
Yes.
And what we've got to do is, the state has a responsibility. The state government has a responsibility.
Sure.
Local government, the national government. But at the same time, we all as Americans, we all as Californians have that responsibility to try to think about what we're doing and how we do it. I try all the time to make sure that words that I use aren't divisive. Mm-hmm. That deeds that I do are seen by everybody as something that could be helpful.
That's right.
It's not easy, particularly in this day and age, but we'll get through this.
For sure.
America's and
resilience.
And a lot of our great friends around the world, different countries and everything, have had similar resilience, similar divisions, but we'll get through it.
For sure. Now, a topic that is very important to us is, and the fundamentals of American history and this great flag, as you mentioned, Betsy Ross, when she saw it, with the stars and the beautiful red and blues and whites, is this idea of embracing others. And in California, specifically, in agriculture, viticulture, as a child, and as you see it today as the man very responsible for a big part of the state, immigration is key. And bringing back, the value, the respect to all those wonderful people coming from all over, whether it's our Mexican friends or Central American friends coming here and making a big difference in the vineyards, in the farms. What is your view on all that, and how could we be greater citizens there?
Well, I just think we need to become activists in this area.
Yeah.
We have not had any significant immigration reform in 35 to 40 years.
And why is that, by the way?
There's division. There's division in our country. We've had Republican presidents, like George Bush wanted to have immigration reform. Bill Clinton wanted to have, but it never. And Obama and a lot of others along the way. But there's always been some political circumstances in the United States that didn't let it happen. But if you take a look at our Bracero programs, our programs that have allowed people to come to the United States to work, let me tell you, as my dad often said, my kids don't want to pick grapes. Yeah. My kids don't want to pick these walnuts. I always tried to say, Dad, I'm in college, I can't go. He would say, no, it's October, you're coming home. But I mean, no, I'll tell you what, it gives you extreme appreciation for what these people have done and what they've meant. Our farm workers in Napa County, mostly Latino farm workers in Napa County and Sonoma County, or all through our breadbasket through the Central Valley, what they've really meant to our economy, what they've done.
And it's amazing. And when I see what could happen, I'm personally concerned because America is really, again, embracing, bringing unity, bringing people together. And it's that land of that melting pot that is so powerful.
And I just think it's common sense that if somebody has done that and put so much into the economy, why shouldn't they have a pathway to citizenship? They should have a pathway to citizenship. And I'll tell you what, I've seen it firsthand here in Napa County and Sonoma County at the farm worker centers. I mean, back-breaking work, do a fabulous job.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know many, and they're amazing. And I think that's an important topic to obviously embrace. Now, when we talk about California, it's multiple countries in one. You said it's a state nation, of course. What are the key differences between North and South? And do you feel that even the state is unified as one?
When it first came to Sacramento, I didn't think so. Los Angeles, the big population base. I mean, we talked about my district being 1 million people. As a county supervisor in Los Angeles County could represent as many as 2 million people.
Wow.
Which is way more than a lot of states, a lot of U.S. senators. So that population base and so many senators and assembly members coming from Southern California, I saw and I kind of felt a lot of disadvantages, to that. The more I've been in, look at our problems are so common. Traffic, homelessness, affordability, all those things, immigration. Those are all things we can all get behind, and we all should be getting behind in terms of trying to find solutions to these age-old problems that are now bringing us together.
That's right.
And not dividing us. Used to be it was all about water would divide us. But even that, we're coming closer together.
For sure. And what message would you have for everyone on America today and how exciting it is to be in America? Because a lot of people tell me always, dear friends, and many of you with us tonight watching, I'm in Tokyo and I'm in Africa, I'm in Eastern Europe, it could be Russia. I'm back in France, and people tell me America is broken, and I say, what are you talking about? What do you mean by this? And I don't mean to be political whatsoever. I just think I've never seen America broken, and I don't think we've ever will. Thank God.
But we can go back in time. All you need to do is see the play Hamilton.
Yes.
To see how broken or hurt or whatever challenged. Let's say challenged. At that time, one had to be here during the Civil War to see how challenged this country was. And then at the end of the Civil War, how we came together, it was still extremely challenging. We saw how challenging it was in the 1960s with our racial divide. And today, we still have similar challenges. We have challenges between, the last president of the United States and what we have today. We have met these challenges time and time again, and one person, a group of people, is not going to determine
That's right.
the fate. It could change the course of events for small periods of times.
That's right.
But my belief that as Americans, as Californians, our values are closer. The divides aren't as big as they really seem.
Well said.
Oftentimes I get together with somebody that's as far right as can be, and it takes some dialogue. But if you stop shouting and you just talk about what's important to them, and
Do you deal the same situation when it's very far left as well?
all the time, you know
Because
what?
I know you deal with both sides.
We are, and you know what?
The truth is,
Those that know me, I've been on the right in my life, and I've been on the left in my life. But I try to find that the answer is always generally in politics and in business and everything. The solution to problems are almost generally always in the middle.
hey, we got a toast to Plato, our famous Greek philosopher who said, the truth in the mystical is in the middle. And it's often the case. So, Bill, this is quite a wine, huh? This is the wine that really represents the history of California, 1857. Can you imagine? We wanted to name it that way because as this powerful red blend, this is what the Count in 1857, we believe, had made. So what do you think of that one?
I just think it is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, just again, right off the nose. Fruit,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I love to see Bill speechless because it never happens. Luckily, it's either a beautiful kiss from his wife or the wine. Now, Bill, you're very involved as well as a great American that you are. And we follow you very closely on a lot of your philanthropic effort. Many of our friends don't even know what that is because many countries are not structured the same way as California and America can be. Give us a little sense of all the things you're doing that are so great for others beyond, the line of duty.
This is something that was instilled in me and my brothers and sister
Yeah,
about how important it was to give back
that's right.
to your community, whether it was public service, philanthropy, service clubs.
Yeah.
And I'm a joiner. I've always been that
Yes.
way. And I decided early on that I was going to be involved in our community nonprofit. So I did it when I was a businessman, donated product, went to all the events.
Yeah,
But and then when you see a big project, like we have a stadium at the local Justin Siena High School here that just bears my family name. We raised $3 million
wow.
to put in.
I want to raise $3 million, done.
But it was not me, it was the generosity. The school named it after my parents
Yeah.
because my brothers and I all went there. But what was important about that is the community, the wine industry in
Yeah.
particular, saw the need and and donated that. And then when I became a supervisor, I started because there's only so much money you can raise, and there's a lot of money in the valley, and not people would maybe sometimes not rather give it to a politician. So we thought.
But there's a lot of irrational giving, so luckily
love that.
we do.
But seriously, we had the opportunity to honor a nonprofit every year. I have a Christmas party,
Yes.
early December, and we raise $100,000 to $150,000 a year for a different nonprofit every year, and it's a huge Christmas present.
That's
this
huge.
year, with COVID, if you can only imagine,
Yeah.
we did it for If Given a Chance. It was for
That's right.
mostly Latino youth going and working hard
Yes.
to try to get to the next level, to get to college and everything. So they have mentoring programs. It's really a fantastic thing. And we did it online
Wow.
and raised about $240,000.
Which was
And
bigger
COVID
than before.
Was, a lot bigger than before.
That's
now, of course,
huge.
during the 2017 fires, we did pretty darn well, about $900,000.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, this community It's not about me. This community steps up.
Yeah.
Time and time again. We have a need, they step up and do it. Whether it's for the Queen of the Valley Hospital in Napa or St. Helena Hospital up in St. Helena. I mean, you can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
The wonderful nonprofits we have here.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for all what you do in that sense.
Thank you.
So you think California is not over? You still believe in the future of California? I'm being provocative, dear friends. My favorite country, California.
California. Absolutely. There's so much. The history isn't written on California. I think a lot of people, because of some situations, which we've already talked about here, may write it off. There's much, much more to come in California.
Yeah, because we don't want to see all our friends
the best
leave.
is yet to come.
We want them, exactly, please sing. We want them to leave and come back.
Yes. And, we want this place to be, that's another thing that's really, of goals and objectives that I have in my business life, in the political life, is leaving California, leaving our place that we live in better for future generations.
That's right.
And so when there's, we have bills that come before us all the time, is this really important now? Will this help make it better for future generations for Californians? And not always the case when,
That's right.
When I see it. But nevertheless, that's the lens that I look at. And many other people look at it that way too. And it's just, I don't know if you know, but I have 5 children.
Yes.
And now I have 10 grandchildren. And by September, I'll have 12 grandchildren.
Oof. Twins are coming.
No, 2 different boys.
Oh, I see.
Wives.
Because I know you like to be efficient, so 2 at once would have been a good legacy.
Be like you. You're highly efficient. So that's
well,
all
I have a great
say.
wife. That makes it happen. And Bill, what is your passion besides business and politics?
I think family. Through and through. We try, and it's hard in today's world because of different events and everything else.
For sure.
We try to have Sunday night family dinners. Where all the kids and the grandkids come over and break bread together.
For sure.
And
congratulations for doing it.
But I'll tell you, COVID made it impossible.
Yeah.
Totally impossible. So we just had this last weekend, like our first, and I had it was pretty fun.
And big
first
updates.
In a long time.
Yeah, and big updates from everyone around the table.
Pregnant women.
Yes.
2 of my daughter-in-laws are due. One of them is due in July.
Wow.
And one of them's due in September.
Pretty exciting.
And so that's kind of fun that those cousins,
For sure.
4 live in Napa, all 4 of my kids and their spouses, and the other one lives in Alameda. So it's not very far. So we can get together. We're so fortunate compared to other families where I've got friends, their daughter lives in Chicago or Boston or New York or Wyoming.
It takes a 6-hour flight.
Yeah, so we're just blessed.
Yeah.
And so we can get together, and I think that.
So family is your ultimate passion.
Family is my ultimate passion.
If there was one more topic that you want to share that you love.
Oh,
It's fun to talk about passion. Wine tasting, that I know.
Well, of course, I've been very fortunate to be able to get to know you.
Thank
and
you.
to be able to get to know other vintners and be just blessed with learning more and more about the great fruit that we have here in Napa and Sonoma counties, but also the people behind it. But I think that I also love sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we learn so much from sports.
Yeah.
You can, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, soccer, or horse racing, or any of those type of things, the competition, it kind of mirrors, what we do as a society in many cases in business or our personal lives, and it kind of gives pleasure. I took the first time I'd been to a Giants, San Francisco Giants. Sorry for you people from LA. You won the World Series last year, but you only played 60 games. Just saying. But anyway, I had to go there.
Of course.
But nevertheless, I took 2 of my grandkids, for the first time. They were like 3 years old. 3-year-olds probably don't belong at a ballpark, but
It's a little early,
we had a
maybe.
ball. It's a little early, but we had a ball. They might have not cared about the game itself, but all the excitement, and
That's
everything
right.
that's going around. It was 25% of the people, in the ballpark. So it was a good family day.
Yeah. And I would add one more you have is people. You're very passionate about people. And that makes you the successful man that you are. You genuinely love people. And I love to see Bill in so many public phenomenal events, and he's always there. And you genuinely love people. And I think that must be one of your passion as well. And I know you kind of subliminally mentioned it, but
Well, I'll tell you, my mom was the same way. It's
Yeah.
It's amazing because that's what I think of when I think of her, and nobody's ever brought that up to me. So I do. And here I am. I've been in politics for 25 years, business for 25 years. I can honestly look you straight in the eye and say, there are not 5 people in the world that I would talk ill of.
that's fantastic.
I mean, that kind of shows you something about the quality of the people that,
Yeah.
not that I'm around, but even people that I vehemently disagree with, I have some way. It's not because I'm any better than anybody else. Look, we're all products of our
For
genes,
sure,
our
for
DNA. Some people look at these type of things as being, because they're so good. Well, no, I'm lucky, and I'm very fortunate that I can find the best in people,
And you really do.
and
And
I enjoy that.
And you enjoy it and you focus on it. So I'm going to add that to your passion.
Thank you.
So now, Bill, as I drink faster than you do, but I'm glad you're catching up, and I know you can. We don't have to finish our glass yet, because now Bill is going to give us, as our state senator, the big statement. So, dear friends, you're looking at Mr. Bill Dodd. This is the man that runs our fabulous, irresistible, beautiful region. He's the man that represents us. So maybe,
Well, yeah, that's way to put me on the spot, John. Frankly,
the light is on.
the light is on. Well, it's an honor. First of all, and as I said before, representing 1 million people is it's a humbling opportunity, experience, and job.
Yeah.
In many
A big one.
respects. But I absolutely love what I do every single day. I'm surrounded by great people that work with me
Yes.
and for me, and we have so much opportunity, and be able to represent, wine regions of Sonoma and Napa County that are just absolutely amazing in every way. It's not like, there's Senator Bill Dodd. There's like, there's Senator Bill Dodd from Napa or from Sonoma or
right.
wherever they see that, and it's really because of the great work of people like you, John Charles,
Thank
and
you.
your team, JCB Enterprises, that it just make it this way, and people are honestly excited. I've got colleagues that are saying, when are you having an event in Napa that we can go? And these are senators and assembly members from Los Angeles, from the Valley, Tulare, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
They could be there in a cow pie tossing contest, but they want to come here and drink JCB wines. But
Thank you,
seriously,
Bill.
it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it.
And what message, in addition to this, you want to give to people as an overall message about what happened in the last 14 months and the future?
I think what we saw in the last 14 months was, if it wasn't humbling for everybody, that's too bad, because I think it's a life lesson for all of us. I can remember delivering, I just felt manic after like a month or two, and I've got a green egg. I don't know if you know what a green egg is, barbecue.
Yeah.
And I was smoking chickens, and I just felt this great need to deliver food to my kids and my grandkids. And so I'd bring it all with all the fixing, and they would come to the window. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm almost choking up about it.
For sure.
They're coming up to the window and touching, and I mean,
Very moving.
it is just it was such a humbling experience, and then to see, I think, frankly, I But I think our government got political and made it political instead of our country maybe coming all of us together and working on this problem. And we might have been able to get out of this a lot earlier. But let's cheers for these companies that made the vaccines for us, the innovation that we have in our country, a lot of it right here from the state of California. But let's face it, we would not be where we are.
That's right.
I would not. We would have masks on, John. If we,
luckily we have wine.
We have wine.
It's much more exciting.
It just made all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
And so here we are. So what we need to do is we need to look, towards the future. We need to fund public health. We need to create a playbook for these things.
Yeah.
We had a pandemic 100 years ago. Nobody left us behind a playbook. And nobody in our generations thought about, hey, we might need a playbook for this someday. Well,
Which
guess
we
what?
do.
This is what we need to do for future generations, is help them so they don't make some of the mistakes that we made. And you know what? The mistakes that were made, we got to get over it. Businesses made mistakes.
That's right.
Individuals made mistakes. Governments at all levels made mistakes. There was no playbook. They're forgiven. Let's move on together, but let's work on our public health systems around the world.
I love
That's my
it.
message.
And to the playbook of the future.
Yes.
Bill, thank you for being with us. What an inspiration. Happy Flag Day, June 14th. Let's remember the past, the present, and thanks to great people like Bill,
And you.
a fabulous future.
Thank you.